Hi, loves. So, I feel a bit in my feelings, but bear with me, okay? Today I went out to the shed to kind of straighten up some things, and make room and organize. And I opened this container, and on top was a bunch of CDs. And my dad, he loved music. But I looked and I found some photo albums, and my heart just expanded because I know I get the love of photos and capturing memories from my dad. And I bring them in, and I start going through them. And one thing that I really have been missing a lot is being able to call my dad up and ask him questions, and he give me his, answer, and we have this long discussion. And now seeing these photos, and the photos that I found today, some of them I have never seen in my life. Some of them, there's a stack of black and white pictures from my family on his side. And, if I had come across these pictures before, I would like pull them up, or when I was here, I would bring them and he would tell me who these people are, and I would be able to get, have the stories, right? So I'm sitting here thinking, I was like, there's an old saying, I don't know how old it is, but it goes, there's three sides to every story: yours, mine, and the truth, right? And why I'm thinking about this is I'm thinking that I still have older relatives that are living that I should, or I'm thinking about reaching out to ask questions. And one thing that came to me is that if I ask them, about a particular time, or tell me about this, what was happening in this time in the family, right? The thing is that it will always be someone's perception of how things happened. So when I'm thinking about there's three sides to every story, it necessarily doesn't mean that someone is lying because their stories don't match up with mine or match up with the source, right? It means that they have a different perception of how things happen. And we know that, right? With like the telephone, you can actually, you can say something, tell it to someone, and by the time it gets back to you, it's a whole different story because everyone perceives things differently. And so I'm sitting with this because I don't have the perception from my dad anymore. I don't have his side of the story. He was the source of some things that I have questions about. And if I ask someone else, it is their perception of how things happened. And so I'm sharing that because I think it's about perception. It's not necessarily that someone is lying or someone isn't telling the truth. It is that it is their perception of how things played out, what they heard, what they saw, how they were feeling, right? Like it goes so deep. It's like we have these perception of things because of how something made us feel, right? And what's happening may spark this feeling within us. And so we may have feelings that has nothing to do with the actual situation at hand. And so I'm thinking about that. I'm like, okay, so when you go into, a conversation with someone and asking them questions, you have to be mindful of this is their perception of things. And that's coming up a lot for me. And something that's really challenging that I don't have all the answers to, and I'm trying to work through because it happens in everyday life. So it's not about necessarily 30 years ago, but things that have happened, and even conversations that I've been having with my mom, about her and my dad's relationship, and knowing some things, right? And I know things from his side from conversations that we had, and I'm hearing her side. And so, but it's the perception. So just wanted to share that. Just, yeah, it's so interesting what begins to uncover itself, and I don't know if this is a part of healing, but this is a part of the bigger journey that I'm on. And even having that foresight and that recognition about perception is something I've never thought about in this way until now. So I am so happy to share it with you all, okay? So it's not all about your story, my story, the truth. It's like my perception, your perception, and what really happened. Possibly, how things really work. So I don't know, but I love you all. I love you all. Yeah, as more comes through me, I am enjoying sharing and going through this. So love you all. Love you all.